2, 1, 2, 3, let's go!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Creator Town Hall for the second time in 2026. I hope you're doing well. My name's Pete Johns, and if you haven't attended a Creator Town Hall before, you're in for some fun. This is our most relaxed, laid back, casual show of the week where I sit here and we chat about particular topics, but you get to kind of drive the conversation. We go off on tangents, but we always bring it back to the fundamentals, which is I want to help you create, record, and release your best music. That's been my goal around here for nearly a decade. And I ain't going to stop. I'm going to keep going with this. If you'd like to be interactive, you can chat here live, like many of the fine folks who are already here are doing. You can also ask your questions. If you put a big Q in front of your comment, it'll just make sure that I tag it as a question. I will jump back in and answer it. And feel free. Look, I know there's pressure with the whole world of watching shows and live streams, and you're like, I can't put an hour or 2 hours aside to catch these whole shows. That's the whole point. This is like the rec center of online YouTube streams where you just get to drop in, say good day, chat to some cool folks, maybe learn a thing or two along the way, and ask your questions. Because the cool thing about this is, like last week, we had some questions from folks. I didn't know the answer, but then we had other folks that jumped in and that provided their 2 cents. And that's the way we want to be around here. We want to have the brains trust and bring it all together, because I don't know everything. You don't know everything. And that's okay, because we've got this wonderful community around us that between us, we got this. We're going to get there. Get over to the folks who are here live. Hello to Mark Bro, to Thomas Christ, to Denise. Hello, Maddie. Thank you for being here. Tremor Bear, Waiting for Godot? No, waiting for Pete Johns. That's my name. Yes, I just kicked off here. Hello, Lord Cyclone. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, all the ways you can support me. Thomas Christ is throwing them out. He's linking slings like a pro, as he does each and every week. Yeah, you can grab your merch. You can support the channel. You can do all the things, and I appreciate you big time. I feel like they should lower the price of the lifetime Final Cut Pro if they're adding a subscription service. We'll get to it. Yeah, look, I've buried the lead, haven't I? Hello to you, outside of Jess. Apple have kind of changed our world this week. And if you've been on the internet, lately? Yeah, you've already seen a lot of the comments and the reactions from folks. And look, as you know, well, if you've been around here for a while, I'm a fence sitter from way back. I like to take my time with things like this. So you might have noticed that I didn't get my first video out for a good 24 hours because I wanted to just taste this for a while, just see how it tasted in the mouth, see what the palate was like, and see if it was actually palatable. Is it a delicious meal, or is it like the cheeseburger you buy at 1 a.m. that's a really bad decision? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. We've got a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of topics. I've spent the week, well, not quite, I've spent the last 3 days going through the details with a fine-tooth comb and working out, is this a good deal? Who is this for? Because it won't be for everyone. And again, every time we get into this sort of stuff, there'll be it's the PC versus Mac, it's the Android versus iOS, it's the, peanut butter versus jelly. No, they go well together. Forget that last one. It's the grunge versus techno. That's what it was back in the 90s in my day. So there's always going to be differing opinions. And guess what? That's good. That's healthy. What's not healthy is either thinking that everything is wonderful and going in with these rose-colored glasses, thinking this is the best thing ever and always will be. That's delusional. And the other thing is thinking that everything is bad all the time. That's just going to lead to a fairly miserable life. So the truth lies somewhere in between, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to get to the truth. I've seen a lot of reaction from people who need to learn how to read. Yes, and that's the thing. Some people don't want to read. Some people don't want to go through all the details. I'm hopefully going to be able to go through those details, give you just the facts that you need, with a little bit of my opinion sprinkled in there, because I'm nothing if not opinionated when it comes to this sort of stuff. And yeah, like you, Thomas, I've heard positive, I've heard negative, and I've heard everything in between. Because the first thing is subscription fatigue. Hands up, who loves how many subscriptions that they have? I'll wait. Yeah, nobody. So no one wants to keep piling and piling on subscriptions. And as we'll talk a little bit later, I think there's something different between a subscription that helps you create and a subscription that helps you consume. And this is definitely a creative subscription. So it doesn't mean it's perfectly good and it's perfect. No, but it means that it lets you do something. Is Creator Studio a separate app? Yes, sort of ish. It is. So we're learning as we go, and we'll find out on the 29th exactly how things work. But from reading between the lines, it does look like it's going to be you just download, you subscribe to it, but then the separate apps are available to you. So it's like if you've ever bought a bundle on the App Store before, it's like that. You buy the bundle, and then all the other apps within that bundle turn into the little down arrow, right? So you'll be able to then go in and go Pixelmator, download, Final Cut, download, Logic Pro, download, and you will need to, you can actually subscribe within the app. So from, again, reading some of the Apple stuff, it looks like, say you've already got Logic Pro subscription, you'll need to like open Final Cut Pro, select the option to subscribe to Apple Creator Studio, and then it will finish your Logic Pro subscription and start up a new one. So there we go. Yeah, exactly. And that's probably been the number one bit of feedback I've had as well, Thomas, which is, could you just leave it alone? And to their credit, and again, there's going to be people that say Apple bad and other people that say Apple amazing. To their credit, they've been very clear about the fact that if you've already purchased these apps on the Mac and you've owned them for years, because like these apps cost a lot of money. Like the very first version of Logic Pro was like $1,000 because it was like a big box and it had a actual paper manual. So there's people that have invested a lot of money, not to mention all the add-ons by getting things like MainStage, by adding like sample libraries, and by just they've got their system 100% set up. And if you say to them, like maybe someone like Adobe did or Pro Tools, yeah, we're not going to honor that. You're not going to get any more new features if you paid us. You have to pay us a monthly subscription for new features. I think we'd be having a very different conversation, and I think people would be not rioting in the streets, not quite that level, but they would be unhappy. Yeah. Outside of Jess, I have none, fortunately. There you go. So it's not a problem. Yeah, that's it. The headline isn't the news. Read the whole article. Exactly. It is. It's like the old iWork license. Spot on. And iWork, the one thing that really kind of boils my bits is that, yeah, the iWork stuff, the numbers and pages and Keynote, adding features to those that are subscription only and going to a freemium model, I'm not a huge fan of that. So we'll talk about it later. My phone don't have enough space for a damn bundle. Yeah. Exactly. You can use whatever profiles you like. Use all the profiles. There's Professor Boomer looking professorally. I want Final Cut Pro, but to buy it outright if they keep the one-time purchase, I won't. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. They have kept and have said they will keep the one-time purchase. I did. I paid $2.99 for it. Here in Australia, we pay the Australia tax, where we pay a little bit extra for everything. So I paid $299 for Logic Pro. I don't actually have a Final Cut subscription. I edit on LumaFusion, which always surprises people when I talk about that, because whenever I talk to anyone like sort of high up, either at Apple or at other places, they're like, oh, so do you use Final Cut or Premiere? And I'm like, LumaFusion. And they're quite surprised by that, because I was using LumaFusion before there was any other option on iOS. So I was editing on like my old iPhone 5 and iPhone 6s using LumaFusion. If you don't know LumaFusion, it's a very good video editor. And look, Final Cut Pro, we'll talk about it in a bit. Final Cut Pro is going to have to add some pretty premium features to get me to go through the learning curve and check that one out. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. Again, because I have choice. I've already paid for LumaFusion. But if I want Logic Pro and if I want Pixelmator, which again is another app, which we'll talk about a bit later, then I'll need to pay. Yeah, and look, that's the thing. We'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about subscriptions. We'll go through it. And look, iMovie is still rad. Look, okay, let's talk about this first. I told you there'd be tangents. iMovie and GarageBand are still free, and they still will be free. Now, the concern a lot of people have is, now that Apple have a subscription across all of these apps on both Mac and iPad, will they be putting any effort back into GarageBand? Well, were they anyway? When was the last major iMovie or GarageBand update anyway? So I think they will keep them because it is the gateway. So whenever anyone buys a brand new iPhone or a brand new Mac or a brand new iPad, what do they get? Built in, downloaded. Like, yes, you have to re-download all your apps, but the one app that you get straight out of the gate is GarageBand and iMovie. So I don't think they're going anywhere else. Jay said she's tried Final Cut Pro for 2 years and went back to LumaFusion. And that's probably where I'll end up, to be very honest, because LumaFusion does everything I need it to do. And a whole bunch more. There's a whole bunch more things under the hood that I don't use with even LumaFusion. But there's a couple of things that I will definitely, in the free month, I'll definitely be trying these out. And that's the thing. You get a month for free. So as Mark said before, don't read the headline, read the article, or listen to the feedback of someone that has read every single word written about this. And the proof will be in the pudding. We'll be trying this stuff out, and then you'll be able to know whether it's for you or not. And that's actually pretty good because Apple don't do the cut down version. Like other freemium type models, they'll give you the light version, right? And then you'll only be able to use like 8 tracks, or you won't be able to save, or you can't use play. No, Apple say try it all, warts and all. I'll give you everything for a month. Try it out, and then come back to it if you want to. So we'll see. Well, again, you can't really judge something until you've tried it. It's like people that are like, oh, no, I could never be vegetarian like you, Johns. And I'm like, have you ever tried it? And also, you don't have to be. I don't care if you are. DaVinci Resolve is actually really good. I've never been able to learn. I downloaded it, I played with it, and I'm like, the learning curve. I don't need another learning curve in my life. I used to schedule free one-to-one sessions at the Apple Store in Boston multiple times a week to learn iTunes and Logic. They don't do that anymore. I know they used to have great educational stuff at the Apple stores. But to be honest, as their documentation and their manuals and their in-store help has gotten worse, it's meant that people like myself and Jade and others that are creating content, people rely on us more. So as much every time someone says, "Oh, Apple should make it much easier. They should put out tutorials. They should make the manual make sense," I just put my hand up and say, "No, I'm happy to bridge that gap and be completely non-beholden to Apple. Apple have given me stuff to try out. They've given me iPads and Macs and iPhones to try out, so that I can tell you what they're like." So I have received. Always have to give them back. That's the thing. People think, oh, you get all the freebies. No, they always go back. So yeah, whenever I get a thing, there'll be another email saying, all right, your time is up now, Johns. Send it back. And I'm like, it's too late to say goodbye. And it goes back to Apple. But again, I love the fact that I can be independent. And Alex Lindsay, if you watch Mac Break Weekly, you've probably learned that Alex Lindsay, who was a big Mac user, giant Apple fan person, you'd have to say, he's taken a job with Apple. So he's gone into the Cupertino cloud, never to be heard from again, because what Apple do, I said do, is don't allow people that work for them to comment. Like, so I would never be able to get an Apple person to come onto this show and talk about Apple stuff. They very rarely selectively pick people like Justine or Marquez Brownlee to do very structured interviews. But apart from that, but again, I'm saying all this, but they still give me access to their gear so that I can check it out and show it to you. Your Logic is February 3, so you have time to... That's a perfect time, Denise. So what I would do, I would cancel it, sign up for the free month on the Creator Studio, and then if you find that you're only using Logic Pro, you can go, well, actually, that's a good point. You may not be able to go back, because that's one thing that's been a little unclear. And I have kind of asked for clarification, so hopefully we get it. But what it seems like is that if you are on a Final Cut Pro or Logic Pro subscription, say the $4.99 per month or the $49.99 per year, what happens if you move to this? And what it seems is you can stay on just that, but then you can't go back. So this could be interesting, that if you want to try out the new one, can you go back to the old one? So these are the questions that I'm still trying to get answers to, and I'll do what I can. Oh, mate, Indian food, vegetarian Indian food, dal, and a nice korma, vegetable korma, or if you don't mind the dairy, a paneer, a palak paneer. My goodness, told you we talk about different things on this show. Yeah. I rarely eat plants. Yeah. What does my dad say? Don't eat the plants. That's what the cows need to eat, so we get steak. Logic Pro Mac at $199 was a lot, but it was in 2001. And that's the thing. A lot of people will already have They've already invested into these things. And look, I would have been right there mad with you. If Apple came out and said, we're stemming this off and we're creating this old model where you can keep using all the features, but you don't get updates if you've paid us. And then if you want the new features, you have to. And look, other companies have done this. So it was a possibility. So the fact that they didn't is a good thing. There you go. There you go. There you go, Mark. You and my dad would get on well. All right. So we're not going to go into all the details, but I do want to cover a lot of this because I've already done 2 videos on this. If you've missed those, we did a video on just the Logic Pro features. We'll recover them here because there's some cool stuff that I want to check out, and I will be checking out and making sure that I show you in future videos. Can't yet until the 29th. So 29th of January is when this all drops, and you'll be able to check it out. So I'll be talking about that, and I also did an overview video of I did the 10 things you need to know about this because again, I saw the internet. Well, when I say the internet blow up, the other thing to remember is that we are 1% of 1%. So we're a very small, we're the 0.1%. When it comes to Apple stuff, we're the 0.1%. There are 99.9% of users that don't care about this. This will not change their world much at all. They either own one of these products on Mac and they won't even consider subscribing to get other ones, or they've subscribed to Logic Pro, they only use Logic Pro, they don't care about anything else, and they'll just keep doing that. So there are a lot of people that don't care about this, but Apple are banking on the fact that the FOMO will kick in. That's what a lot of these subscriptions are about. I wanted to watch the sexy new hockey show, so I had to resubscribe to HBO Max for a month so that I could watch Heated Rivalries. And don't judge me; it's cool. It's a good show. Episode 3, first 2 episodes were like, is this all there is? Wasn't enough hockey for my liking. But then episode 3, they follow it. Oh, it goes off on a tangent. It follows another character. Anyway, yeah, I'm not here to promote more subscriptions, have I? Yeah, the Sist has the education email. There you go. Yeah, the educational price is kind of ridiculous. $2.99 for a month of the education. $4.99 here in Australia, or $29.99 a year. And that's the cool thing, because there are people that can't pay $199 for Logic Pro, that can't pay $199 for Final Cut Pro. You imagine that you're a college kid, right? You're eating ramen noodles out the cup, and then you're like, I'd really like to do something. Well, no, you're using CapCut and iMovie and GarageBand. The premise, the mere thought of using something like a pro app like Logic Pro or Pixelmator or Final Cut Pro, it's not within your reach. So I know for folks that have invested, that maybe have a little more disposable. I'm not saying that we're all rich, because no, let me tell you, you need to watch every penny, especially in these days. But if you're a starving college kid trying to pay rent and trying to pay student loans off and all the rest of it, you can probably swing $3 a month. It's just, you know what? It's one less can of beer. But keep buying the ramen though. Please don't forego food to do that. HBO Max, $250 per year here. And that's the other thing. When we start talking about the value, it's like when I talk about DistroKid and people are like, oh, $24.99 a year. I'm like, yeah, everything else is $24.99 a month, baby. Like $24.99 a year is actually a pretty good price for something, again, that helps you create, not consume. So it's all perspective, isn't it? It's all about perspective. I'm watching Blind Spot right now, and I think TV shows peaked during... Yeah, look, TV shows are a bit try-hardy. Is that the right word for it? Yeah, exactly. On Social Security. Fixed incomes. Fixed incomes, or in my case, highly variable incomes. Yeah. But yeah, look, I think music peaked in about 1998, and I think that TV peaked when the final episode of Seinfeld went on the air. So what was that? 2000? 99? Something like that. But I'm an old man. All right, so let's talk about the context of this stuff. So again, we're going to go into detail with this, and it won't be the whole show. If you want to, if you're like, this is too much, and you want to take me off on other tangents, do so. Oh, by the way, quick programming update. Next week we will have a guest. In fact, I've got guests coming on the next 2 weeks. I'm just finalising our second guest, but I can confirm that the awesome, the great, the Canadian Brad Example will be my featured guest on the show next week. So you're going to want to tune in for that, because Brad is just super, super funny, super talented dude, and just really good to chat to. And I asked him, look, what topic we're going to cover, Brad? And he's like, Pete, I've gone from GarageBand to Logic Pro. I got some things to talk about and to share, and that are going to help people out. And I'm like, perfect. That will be perfect because I know, especially with this news, there'll be a bunch of people that will be considering moving from GarageBand to Logic Pro and doing the same sort of things that I know that Joe and Barry Glenn have done, that Brad Example is doing. Many of you, I think Tremor Bear, I think you started out on GarageBand and moved to Logic Pro. So yeah, a lot of folks have gone down this GarageBand, graduated into Logic Pro, and the learning curve is real. It's pretty steep. It takes a while, but you'll get there. I promise you. You'll get there. So yeah, that's cool. And the other thing I want to say, as we do all the time, is hit the thumbs up, please, if you're going to enjoy this. If you plan to enjoy this, feel free to hit the thumbs up. If you like to hit the thumbs down, that's rad too. That gives me engagement as well. People are like, "I'll show him," punk, thumbs down, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually better than nothing. If you come here and hate watch and give me a thumbs down, it's still better than not watching at all. So thank you. Thank you. G'day to Gary Hubs. Always good to see you here. Gaza, always cool. Right. Gasoline, petrol, is that a subscription? We have to pay for it every month. Yeah. Razor blades, you can get them as a subscription, like your shavers. Like everything can be a subscription. And we'll talk about that a bit more later as well. So, yeah, first point we're going to talk about here. Yeah, we're 20 minutes in and we're talking about the first point. Pro creative software has never been cheap, right? The first versions of Adobe Premiere were in the hundreds for a license. Like we're talking $400 and $500 and $600. I remember when I got Adobe Premiere because I was doing some video work as part of my job. I worked for an energy company, but I ran the voice of the customer program, so I had to create sort of videos and tutorials. I know I was doing it way back then for how to use the systems and how to do things. So I saw the price tag, and we were talking about $500 per license, and that was enterprise pricing. So it's always been expensive. Like I mentioned before, the first Logic Pro was like $999 at its peak. And it's designed for studios and professionals and long upgrade cycles, people that are investing into their craft. Very different expectations to today, aren't they? So yeah, a question for you all. Who remembers buying software in boxes? Who remembers big box software? And if you could, would you want to go back? Because I haven't bought a physical piece of media, be it music, be it movie, be it software. When was the last physical piece of media that I bought? I think it was for my daughter. I think I bought her like the sports for her Switch. And for some reason, you could download it, but it was actually cheaper. It was on sale. And so Amazon delivered it. And that was the latest one. Excuse me. My PlayStation stuff, DVDs and Blu-rays, I don't buy anymore. CDs, despite the fact that I have a collection, that kind of ended in about the mid, like 2005, 6, when MP3s were embedding themselves and digital streaming was starting to come up. So I haven't bought anything in a big box or in any box for a long time. But it was kind of cool. Back when you bought things, did anyone like buy a piece of software in a box and then the manual came and you read the manual, like the manual wasn't good enough? So what did you do? You went out and you bought the big, thick, chunky ones, like the McAfee versions, like the big books written by McAfee that was just like that thick. It was like Excel 97 power user. Yeah, I loved Excel. I was a big Excel fan. Or if you wanted to shortcut it, you go with the For Dummies or the Complete Idiots guide. See, they thought we were stupid back then. They're like, do you want to get are you a dummy or a complete idiot? Imagine that, you walk into a bookstore. Where's the how-to books? Over there. Are you a dummy or a complete idiot? I'm like, I'm just a guy trying my best. And they're like, okay, that's fine. Complete idiot. Give him that one. Yeah. So yeah, no, the physical media is not a thing anymore. Logitech subscription mouse. Really? How does that work? Do you rent your mouse? I'm pretty happy. I'm leasing the best mouse at the moment. But look, we've seen it. Like we've seen what BMW with their seat warmers. You have to pay an extra subscription to turn on a feature that is already in your car. Tesla with their self-driving stuff. It's already in the software. You just pay for them to flick a switch and give you access to it. So Subscriptions don't make sense for a lot of things. I'm using the Logic and Final Cut 30-day free trial, 90-day free trial. Can't wait for the Creator Studio to drop, since I know my mum can't afford both Logic and Final Cut as one-time purchase. Yeah, and you are the target demographic. And guess what? If you're young enough, or if you've got access to an EDU email address, or can prove that you're a student with a student ID, you pay virtually nothing. $2.99 a month. I don't care how strict your mum is. I reckon you can go to her and say, "Mum, 3 clams a month, and I can be a creative genius. I can turn into a star on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and I'll be paying the bills before you know it." What mum would say no to that? No to the big box. You bought Omnisphere and Nexus. Nice. Spent thousands and thousands of dollars on plugins and software and hundreds of hours training to learn to produce electronic music, and still can't play an instrument. Or can you? That's the thing. And look, I know people, not technically, but you can play I bet you can play the heck out of a friggin' arpeggiated plugin. That's a thing too. Hello, Kitespongan? Kit Espongan? It's hard when these handles that run together. I know, the For Dummies books and the Complete Idiot's Guides. It was so weird. Honestly, sail the seven seas when I listen to music. I buy when I can, but I need a way to listen offline and use as my line. Yeah, exactly. And look, streaming is just, I got a message from someone, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, it's Cold Acre. People know Coldy. Yeah, he's a great dude. Over in Melbourne, great guitarist, loves his music. And he said, because I've been doing these shorts lately where I've got one coming out later today on Pearl Jam's No Code album. Because No Code is my favorite Pearl Jam album. And speaking of the physical media, check out this one, people. Look at this. This is what you got when you bought No Code. And like the CD was in this little part, but you pull out here and you get a little packet of photos. So you've got artwork in here, and on the back, like, each photo is for like each track, and it tells you like the lyrics, it tells you about the track. Like, this is ridiculously cool. Creepy eye judges you. But this is what we're missing these days. We're missing the tactile feel of real physical things. So look, do I want to go back to having to, buy a DVD? Like, you buy the software and then you come home and then it still has to download. Like, if you used to buy PlayStation games and you're like, yeah, I'll buy the CD or the DVD version because then I won't have to download it. And then you get it home and you have to download almost as much anyway because it has to update itself. And then it wants to install all this stuff on your hard drive, except you still have to put the DVD in every time you want to play it. It's a bit ridiculous. Yeah, and look, that's the other thing. Remember when we had to pay for software updates? Remember when Windows, going from Windows 98 to Windows XP, you'd buy, I remember I've got packaged boxed Windows XP and Windows 7 because I paid for like hundreds of dollars. And now Windows are like, we're putting you on Windows 11 for free and there's nothing you can do about it. People are like, no, 10 was fine. And they're like, nah, you're going to 11. Suck it. At least Apple lets you stay on the old one for a while, but yeah. I forgot. You're a cracker, Thomas. I forgot to renew my mouse subscription and I can't click the renew button. There you go. There you go. Learn how to play drums and the piano. There you go. Not a musician, I'm a programmer. That's it. Same thing. But yeah, you can make music. And I know people, anyone that looks down on you and judges you because you can't twiddle away on a piano or a guitar. No, we need you. We need folks just like you. So my point there was that we've been paying a lot of money for this stuff before. But the thing is, number two, people don't like the subscriptions, do they? No. Subscriptions can actually help creators though. Why? Because subscriptions don't have to be permanent. Subscriptions help you change your mind. If you're going to commit $400, you're going to have a sunk cost bias into that Final Cut Pro and into that Logic Pro that there's no way you're going to try something else. But if you try a month of a subscription to these bits of software, maybe you don't love them and you go off and you go back to GarageBand or iMovie. Or maybe you subscribe for a month, finish your album or do your video project or do your EP or do your singles and mix it and master it and then cancel it. You know what's really easy to do on Apple products? Manage your subscriptions. They're right there in your subscriptions folder. Like, you can go in there, you search subscriptions, and you can cancel them at any time. Like, you can even, tip for new players, if you're doing a free trial on something and it's through Apple, just go in and cancel it immediately. My daughter did that. She wanted to try out this new app, and it was a 7-day free trial. And I'm like, Jazz, yep, you can sign up for the free trial, but then cancel it immediately. And she's like, but then I won't get to use it. And I'm like, aha, that's what they want you to think will happen. But what actually will happen is it'll say, okay, cancelled. You can use this up to the date you cancel. And that's the case with any app you subscribe to through the Apple subscription. The problem is, if you go to like Netflix or other sort of third parties and they have a free trial, they deliberately don't let you do that because they want you to forget to cancel and then pay them and then be really unhappy about it and then hate them and then have to have a big argument with their customer service rep. Or is that just me? I think that might be just me. Yeah. I know subscriptions aren't permanent. Tell that to Adobe. But that's the thing. I had an Adobe subscription. And you know how much I was paying for? Because I had it through my work, right? And then I was doing my side hustle and definitely wasn't using my work subscription to edit on Premiere. But then guess what? Work took it away. So I had to pay for it just for Premiere Pro here in Australia. And we're talking 5 years ago was something like $34 a month. And if I wanted the whole creative suite, it was in the hundreds. Like it was about $1,000 a year. It was about 110 or something dollars per month. And then if you wanted to try and get out of the contract, there was the whole sort of subscription gate where if you were a Creative Suite subscriber, well, actually you were paying monthly, but your contract was for a year. So if you wanted to cancel after 3 months, you had to pay you had to pay the 9 months. It was redonkulous. It was terrible. Please tell my son Jake, he's 6 years old, good night and go to bed. Jake, sleep is the most important thing. And I'm saying this as someone who in my youth didn't get enough of it. So go to bed, get a really good night's sleep, and then get up and tell your dad that you were a really good boy and you deserve to be bought a present. Sorry. Sorry, Mike. All right. Yeah. So that's the thing. You're paying for access. You're not making a lifelong commitment, or are you? Or are you? Because I saw a video that was like $13 a month for life. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but again, the old days were pay $400 and then 3 years later, when the next version comes out, pay another $400. And look, Apple have done a good job of not having that take place in recent times. It used to be that every major version, or at least every second version of software, you'd pay for the update. I reckon if you bought Logic Pro like version 8, you're about to update to version 12 now, and you still haven't paid another cent. And that's not bad. That's pretty good. Speaking of which, there you go. Everyone's helping get Jake to bed. Oh look, bedtime. I got 14 and a 16-year-old. Bedtime's still a challenge. I don't want to tell you this, DJ, but bedtime's still a challenge. But now it's not really my problem. Like, guess what? If you don't go to bed, you don't go to sleep, you wake up grumpy in the morning. Too bad, too sad. Go to school. Anyway. So let's talk about the third point I had on this was funding the updates. So subscriptions pay for ongoing development, right? Regular updates require engineers. They require designers. They require QA, quality assurance testing. They require OS compatibility work, which sometimes works. Sometimes they get that stuff right. Sometimes not so much. And that's what subscription revenue actually enables. It's predictable funding. It means that we get faster updates. It means we get longer term support. So if we want constant updates, they need a business model that provides for that. Yeah, exactly. Would we accept, and this is the thing, subscriptions that I think are not worth it are subscriptions that don't add value, that don't consistently update to add new things, that don't have that team behind them to fix things. And you can argue, and you're more than welcome to, and say that, but they don't, Pete. But every time a new thing comes out, something breaks. But every time there's a major iOS update, we get bug fixes, and then they break other things, and then we have to have more bug fixes. And I get it, but without the revenue coming in, it's a bit like app developers. Jade says this all the time. She says that app developers in iOS, people expect that they pay $2.99 for a plugin, and that means that the developer has to give them lifetime updates and lifetime support. And if they don't, then they get really shirty and they go and leave a 1-star review on the App Store. And it's just not feasible because you wouldn't work for nothing. Whatever job you do, you wouldn't do it unless it was an absolute hobby and you absolutely did it for the love of the game and you absolutely did it for joy. you wouldn't do it for free because you got to make money. You got to make a living. And look, I'm a big fan of enough as opposed to making all the money. So I don't like things that are rip-offs, but I do like the fact that we can actually help people out. Right. Okay. The creator subscription paradox. It was funny. So I watched some channels that, again, that I don't watch regularly, but when things like this happen, a bunch of channels come out of the woodwork, right? And so I'm seeing these channels that are saying things like, yeah, $13 for life. Oh, Apple are ripping off all their users again. Now, please join my YouTube membership, join my Patreon, buy my merch, buy my new album, buy. They were starting to sound like NSYNC. And I couldn't help but feel the hypocrisy just oozing out. That they're saying, I need to make a stable income. So I would love for you to join up to my Patreon, my YouTube membership, or my courses or whatever. And then they were like, but don't do this. And I'm not saying you can't have your cake and eat it too sometimes. Yeah, you can have opposing views. You can say, $1 trillion company should not be able to rip off people. But me, I think I'm providing service and I think I'm providing benefits and I think I'm providing the good stuff to my community. And I just ask for a small payment in return for that. So, yeah, but it did make me go, if you're promoting your own paid communities and paid subscriptions and then complaining about others doing it, I don't know. Is it hypocrisy or is it just fatigue? Are we just exhausted? And are we tired? It's a bit like, so the difference is, I'm about to admit I shoplift here. If I go into a major supermarket, here in Australia we have two. I won't tell you which one I use because then I'll be admitting who I accidentally sort of pilfer from sometimes. But let's say you go into a major supermarket and you're scanning your stuff and you put your things on there and you punch it in and then you go and you leave and then you realize afterwards that you got cashews when you paid for peanuts. Well, am I going to go back to multi-billion, trillion-dollar company and say, look, I probably paid $7 for these peanuts and I probably should have paid you $12 because they're actually cashews? Probably not. So maybe that's the difference. Whereas if I go to my local corner store where I walk in and I'm like, hey, Salvatore, and he's like, hey, Pete, how you doing? And I'm like, yeah, good. Can I get one? By the way, that sounded a bit racist. I live in an area that's very Italian, and there's a great place nearby me called Glindburn Gourmet, and they have all this great food. And I walk in and they've got like big vegetarian pizzas for $12. If I buy a vegetarian pizza from Salvatore for $12 and he accidentally charges me $2, I'm going to say, Salvatore, you charged me $2. Yeah, idiot. Here's the complete idiot's guide to selling pizza. And it'll be like, oh, thanks for telling me. So I think there's a difference, isn't there? When it's a person, when it's an individual connection you have with a creator, you're supporting them because you want to support them. You actually feel like you're part of it. And you are. Anyone that's a patron, anyone that's a member of this channel, I couldn't do it without you. Whereas, yeah, with Apple, it's like they can't buy that one extra ivory back scratcher. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know, but it's interesting. It's interesting to think about, isn't it? 99 down, 99 a month for 99 years. I know, and the finance industry is a challenge. When updates 10 to 10.x were free, but upgrades from 10 to 11 you had to pay. Yeah, exactly. Like the good old days were that. They are late to the party, aren't they? That they didn't have subscriptions in place before. You do. You have to watch out. Woo! It's the nut police, and it's that guy. What is the thing? There's the guy that's the plant. Is it Planters? Nut character. Told you we go off on tangents. It's always fun. Yeah, Mr. Peanut. All right. Yeah. So Mr. Peanut. So that would be terrifying, wouldn't it? If you walk out. So Pete walks out, and he's got his bag of cashews, and he hears woo woo woo, and he's like, excuse me, sir. Do you realize that you paid for the wrong nut? And I crack him in half and run. And he's like, oh, tell my wife and pistachios I love them. Or something like that. No. But you know what? Okay, it is Coles. But more fool there, mate. Because when I walk out, have you ever experienced this? Like I walk out, the gate will shut on me and woo, woo, woo. Like I haven't done anything. And the person just comes over and they're like, sorry. And you just walk out. I'm like, what do you don't ever stop anyone or actually question anyone? I'm like, I'm a good boy. I only ever accidentally steal from you. But tell you what, I can see why some people would be like, meh, I may or may not pay. They never do anything anyway. You tip them extra next time. I've legit done that. I've gone back when I realised that I've accidentally ripped off like a local trader. I'll go back the next time, like my local cafe, and I'll be like, "Oh, last time you didn't charge me this," and they're like, "Oh, that's okay." Yeah, they usually don't worry about it. We don't have tips here in Australia. I'm sorry. I know it's bad. Is there a complete idiot's guide? No, I think I need to create it. Complete idiot's guide to Logic Pro for iPad. I am very lucky though. I knew nothing, by the way. A lot of people are like, oh, Apple have told you their 3-year plan, John. Do you know everything that's going to happen and exactly when? I'm like, I can assure you, I simply do not. But I don't know, I had an inkling that as we came up towards the subscription renewal for Logic Pro for iPad, that there would be a major update. So I was planning to do my read the effing manual series for Logic Pro, but I just waited, and now I'm glad because otherwise I would have had to do that. I literally spent $14 today on a small fettuccine Alfredo, and I'm assuming you're in the US, so that's probably US dollar bucks, which is like, yeah, it's like 20 bucks Australian. I mean, if it was delicious, that's okay. Yes, do watch your hello, GarageBand covers. Good to see you, my friend. Good to have you. In the Steve Jobs times, Apple was a hardware company and their apps were the killer app. You had to have to justify the high price. Yeah, exactly. Spot on. Spot on. In the US, it's because they forgot a tag. Yeah, right. Yeah. I never go to the self-serve anyway. I'm not trained for it. I don't take a cashier's job. If they make a mistake, it's on their hands. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I'm too impatient and I don't love people. I know it's weird. You're like, Johns, you've just talked at a webcam for the last 42 minutes about basically nothing. You clearly love people. You love communicating. But real world, scary. People are scary in the real world because they might talk back. Whereas you guys will just sit there. No, again, next week and I'll let you know. Also, John from Indie Over 50 had a great chat with him yesterday. Super nice guy. Exactly on the same page as me. All about helping folks create and record and release music. So we're doing some collaborations in the coming weeks, and he'll be on the show probably in 2 weeks' time, if not in 4 weeks' time. So you can watch this space for that, because I do actually love talking to other people and getting other people's opinions. And actually being able to have a bit, not a heated debate, like I don't agree in arguing over things, but other people have different views to me, and that's cool. That's a good thing. For instance, he promotes Spotify because he knows that the man on the street, or woman on the street, or person on the street that's about to try and create music, all they hear about is Spotify. So he, as part of his branding, says sharing music on Spotify and YouTube. And not to go into too much detail, but I said to him, it's interesting, John, because some of us don't love Spotify. And he's like, well, that's the thing. Like, that's why I want to collaborate with you, Pete, because you know more about YouTube and you can help folks learn more about sharing music on YouTube and all the rest of it. So hopefully I can do that. Mr. Nutter Butter. Wrong. Don't go to my Facebook. So Creator Studio. Let's go back and talk more about it. Who actually wins? Who's this actually for? So who is Creator Studio for? It's clearly going to help some creators more than others. So your likely winners are going to be iPad first creators for sure, because we're getting more and more desktop level apps on the iPad. Now, not all of them, because we're not getting main stage. I know, boo. We're not getting compressor. We're not getting motion. We're getting access to pages and numbers and freeform and the updates there and Keynote. And we're getting Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, and Pixelmator Pro, which is interesting because for me, Pixelmator Pro could be my Canva killer. I love Canva. Canva are an Australian company and they make a great product. But I'm sorry, Canva, but if I'm already paying another company for an app, a bundle that has an image creation, editing sort of app, maybe I'll try that for my thumbnails and for my posts and whatnot. So solo creators, families sharing tools, and Apple ecosystem users. So for me, this is an absolute no-brainer because I have 2 kids, 16 and 14, They love creating. Especially my eldest daughter. She uses LumaFusion at the moment. She's not really creating music, although she sings in the choir. But she'll probably learn Pixelmator and know how to use it before I do. I have little doubt. So that's going to be cool because if I pay for the subscription, and here in Australia it's going to be $19.99 a month or $199 a year. So we pay the Australia tax, and I think Canada pay the Canada tax, just the way it works. But if you've got family sharing set up, it can be me, my daughters, my wife, and my mum. My mum could be rocking out. Can you imagine my mum with like the headphone on, creating beats on Logic Pro on her iPad? Maybe. You never know. Yeah. But who are the potential losers? So your casual users, those that are only going to use this occasionally, are going to look at it as just another subscription that they don't need. Yeah. Yeah. Cross-platform creators. Yeah. So people that are using things across platforms, I don't know, are they potential losers or they could be winners? Maybe. And subscription fatigued users. So, yes, people that are already fatigued by subscription. So, does this feel like progress or does this feel like some extra pressure? I don't know. What do you think? You be the judge. You be the judge. All right. What about upgrade anxiety? Let's talk about this one, hey? How the heck is this actually going to work in the real world? So when you update, when you have things like iOS and macOS, you basically just choose. You go into your settings and you choose when you want to update. With something like this, yeah, we're going to have to do a few things. You'll need to be on iPadOS 26. You'll need to be on macOS 26 in order to use this subscription at all. And look, I'm not on the latest macOS yet. I've held back because this is my daily driver. This is my work computer. And folks were having some issues early on. So I will, if I want to check this out, have to take the plunge and actually update my Mac and update my iPad as well, if I wanted to go and take the plunge to that as well. But how is it actually going to work for existing subscribers to Logic Pro? So at the moment, I have my Logic Pro subscription. And if I accept the free trial of this one for a month, then the Logic Pro goes away. And I'm assuming I can't go back to it. So yeah, the subscription, and again, people that are moving to the subscription that have already paid for some of the apps, will they just update their apps as per usual? Or will there be a different sort of upgrade path? And these are the little details that will be important because the last thing we want to see happen is people lose stuff. And can I just say that you want to update things, you want to make sure that you've backed up everything before you update anything. So make sure that every Logic Pro project, every Final Cut project, if you use Final Cut, every item, every asset, every song, every master is somewhere else. And at least 2 other places. Otherwise, it's not really backed up. So if you can have it on the original device, have it on an external hard drive or a hard drive on a computer and on a cloud storage service, that's the best option because you've got local, you've got remote, and you've got primary. That's the best way to back up. Now, if you're going to choose one, I would choose remote. I would choose the cloud, especially if you're using someone like Google Drive or Dropbox or Apple's iCloud. Or even OneDrive. They're unlikely to go away, yeah? So it's unlikely that they're going to lose your data. They're going to back it up. They've got servers. They've got backup servers of their servers. So usually, even if you delete something, unless you then go into your recently deleted and redelete it, some people said to me, I got an email recently, and I laugh, but I shouldn't, because this person had a bunch of stuff in their recently deleted. And you know where I'm going with this. And they said, I had a bunch of stuff in my recently deleted, but it was still taking up space. So I deleted it from my recently deleted folder. How do I get it back? And my answer was a fairly definitive, yeah, so you can't get that back. You will never get that back. So yeah, and again, it reminds me, my wife worked with someone who stored their files in their trash folder, and then IT came and was fixing something one day and just emptied her trash, and she went, "What did you do that for? I had important documents in there." And it's like you had important documents stored in something called trash can. I mean, I don't want to victim blame, but if you know when you go into recently deleted and it says these will be deleted permanently and will not be recoverable, and you say yes, okay, what were you actually thinking would happen at that point? I don't know. Yeah, and that's it. Update. You need to be on Sequoia 15.6, not Tahoe. I lose track of all. I wish they would just call them numbers, not the different places in California. I don't know enough about geography to know what I'm doing. Hot take from a 26-year-old. I think cable needs to come back. Well, see, the thing is, I would have disagreed with you 5 years ago, mate. Now I kind of agree with you because you know what we were complaining about with cable? We were like, with cable, you pay this one subscription and you get all this stuff that you don't want. Wouldn't it be better if you could do it a la carte? Yeah, except instead of like just being able to choose Netflix, originally when Netflix came out, it crushed cable. Why? Because cable bills were 40, 50, 60 bucks and Netflix was 10 bucks and it had everything you wanted. Like, unless you wanted live sport, Netflix had everything else. All the movies, all the TV shows, all the series. Like, none of this, like, oh, only one season. But now, we have ridiculous amounts of subscriptions. And I'm pretty sure I pay more now for my individual TV subscriptions than I did for cable. Because I have Disney Plus, Stan, which is a service here in Australia, Binge, which is another service here in Australia. I have Netflix. I have HBO Max at the moment. I have Paramount Plus. And I have, oh no, I don't have ESPN anymore because ESPN and Disney Plus smooshed together. So I've had one little saving, means I can watch the hockey. But it's so weird. Do you know how weird it is to go and watch a hockey game and go Disney Plus, scroll past movies and Simpsons episodes, and then find the hockey game I want to watch? It's really, really weird. Yeah, that's it. You're getting nickel and dimed to the point where cable would actually probably be a better option. And yeah, and you get your sports live as well. So a mate of mine gave me his Foxtel. Like, well, again, don't share passwords, people. But he has my Amazon Prime. I have that too. So he has my Amazon Prime and my Disney Plus, and I have his Foxtel. And it's so cool because it's got all the live sport, and it's got catch up, and it's got all the channels. And I'm like, yeah, I reckon cable is good. Yeah, Disney's probably going to get rid of Hulu as well, and it will. It's all separated out, and then it's all come back together. You want HBO, Hobo Max. the channel that's changed name, wasn't it? HBO Max, then just HBO, then just Max, then HBO Max again. I thought of you yesterday, Tremor Bear. I'll find this photo that where was it? I took a photo of this. I thought this was funny. It made me think of you as a bear, as a fellow bear. Again, this is Tangent City. Let me bring up this photo. Receiving photo. See, the Apple ecosystem, say what you will about it, but it's pretty cool for being able to just grab things. So I'm walking down the street. So imagine John's walking down the street and he spots this. What is this? Free picnic basket? Giveaway? Surplus? Smiley face? Sitting on the side of the footpath next to some dense trees and forest area. And I was like, I know what's happening here. If I try to swipe that picnic basket, there's going to be a bear that's going to come out and try and swipe it from me. So swiping that picnic basket would be a boo-boo. Thank you. I'll hold for the applause and the laughter on that one. I said that to my wife, and her response was face slap face, laughing face. And I'm like, that's exactly what I was going for. I was going for the sort of joke that makes you go, oh, okay, but kind of clever. That's my humor. That's the way I roll, baby. Popping by to say, hey, hello, Jamie Lynn. Hope you are doing well. Netflix just bought the exclusive right from Sony, so Marvel Universe is on Disney, but Spider-Man will be on Netflix. Oh my God. That's just nuts, isn't it? Too uncool. Don't like it. No bueno. No bueno. What else are we talking about here? No, I'm going to skip that one. Should we talk about the ownership illusion? The ownership illusion. Um, if you own a digital product, you don't really own it. Look, I know it's cliche to say this, but it's so true. We've seen it time and time again. Speaking of the TV stuff, we saw where Sony Pictures it was, wasn't it? That had that. It was Sony that was selling things from Discovery or from Nat Geo or something like that, and then they said, "Oh, we know you've purchased the digital copy of this, but you just don't get it anymore." I had this with Audible. I had an Audible subscription, and I signed up with the Audible US before Audible was in Australia. Then Audible came to Australia, and they said, we're going to change you over to Australia, but you've got these books that are not available in Australia. So we're taking them from you. And I was like, hang on a minute. Complained, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll give you credits to make up for the books we're taking from you. So because they didn't have the rights to sell those books or have those books available on your Audible membership in Australia, but they did in the US, even though I was already in Australia, somehow it was okay as long as my account was based in the US. But now that my account's in Australia, can't have those books. So they took them away. And you know the stupid thing? I went and used those credits on the same books. They were just published by a different publishing company. So they were published by the Australian publishing company. And because a different company owned the publishing rights of the same book in the US and the same book in Australia, the version I had before that was the exact same version of the audio book had to be deleted, and I had to buy the new one. And this is where we are in 2026. This is the stupidity of digital products. And I say that to say I own this copy of No Code. Now, apart from the old safeguard and on-disk copy protection that they tried to do with video games back in the day, they will have to come and pry this copy of No Code from my hand, because I can put this on any CD player right now, and I did just a couple of days ago, and play the whole album. And no one can stop me. If I own this on iTunes and iTunes decides that they're no longer going to serve this particular album, or Pearl Jam decide that they don't want to offer this on iTunes and iTunes takes it away, what am I going to do? I don't know. We've seen this with apps before. I've bought apps. If you go into, you want to have a fun day out, go into your previously purchased apps and scroll all the way to the bottom and look at the graveyard of 99-cent apps that you bought in 2009 and 2010 and 2011, the early days of iOS and the App Store. You will find so many apps that are ghost apps. They don't exist. You bought them. You didn't subscribe to them. You paid for them outright. You owned them, but you didn't really. And that's the thing. Digital content is not owned. You will not have it forever. You're not passing down your copy of No Code in your iTunes library to your kids. Whereas when I shuffle off, my kids have to work out what to do with all this crap. Sorry, kids. Maybe digital is better, because maybe our relatives don't have to work out what to do. Yeah, look, Amazon, not great. Yes, I was talking about you before, Cody, that CDs, DVDs, I've still got quite a collection of my favourite movies on DVD, and things like, so Dogma, great movie by Kevin Smith, was available. No, I think it's still available nowhere. You can buy it, I think. I think he finally got the rights back from Harvey Weinstein, and you can now buy it. But I've got the physical copy. It's a US copy, so I have to find a DVD player that will play the multi-region format. Which I don't think. Oh no, I think my PlayStation did it. I think I tried it the other day, and the PlayStation came to the party. So yeah, we'll see. Alrighty. What else do we have here? Oh, I'm just seeing if we had any other things. We might be towards the end here, I reckon. We went off on some tangents here today. We had a great chat about Apple Creator Studio. Again, I didn't go into every little detail about what it's about, but I kind of wanted to share with you my opinion, my thoughts on what's good, bad, otherwise, and what it is that I think will be happening in the future. But the proof will be in the pudding. We won't know until we actually see what goes down and we see what Apple decide to do with this platform. And the good news is I can be your guinea pig. So you don't have to do anything. Look, there's some cool new features in especially Logic Pro for iPad, but you don't have to jump the gun. Leave it till like Denise. Denise has got her subscription changing on the 5th of February. That'll give you enough time. I'll definitely be checking all this stuff out in the last few days of January and into the start of February because there's cool new features. Before we finish up, let's just talk about that. Let's get excited because we've talked about some bad things and some things that aren't great. I'm going to let you know about a couple of Final Cut things. So Final Cut, start to finish, shoot pro level footage with the complete control in the Final Cut camera on iPhone, then edit on iPad and Mac with powerful, approachable tools and effects. That's something that I think will be cool. And importing all of my different files, because I use my iPhone for a lot of my sort of shoots. If I'm shooting something here on my desk or I'm out and about, using Final Cut camera and then having it go straight into Final Cut either on my phone or my iPad or my Mac, like that would be kind of cool. So I may be trying that. And where's the other one? Perfect timing every time. Beat matching. Beat detection matches your music's rhythm so you can align clips effortlessly and keep your edits in sync with the beat. So that could be kind of cool. And they don't have it here, but there's another one which is the montage feature, which is going to allow you, which is going to allow you to put a whole bunch of clips in and then put a song. Like, let's just say that you want to do like you've got your band at a rehearsal, or you've gone out and you've shot a whole bunch of footage, and then you just want to make something fun that you can put your music to, and maybe do a lyric video or something like that. Well, you can just say, here's all of these bits of footage, here's the song, put it together, and it will actually match it and beat match it for you. So I think that's kind of cool. I think that'll be interesting to see. But let's look at Logic Pro, because if we scroll down, we'll find past Pixelmator Pro, Logic Pro. So we've got the new synth player, which does look like, it doesn't show it here, but it does look like it's got a lot of controls. So you have like envelope control and LFO control. And look, I know we've got this in a lot of standalone synth apps, but that's the cool thing. You can use Synth Player to play your standalone synth apps. So if you've got a synth app you already use that you love, don't forget, you don't have to just use Logic Pro's apps. You can use any third-party app or even like an external analog synth. If you wanted to like control a synth and then bring it back in, you can absolutely do that. And there's a bunch of other stuff in there, and it doesn't actually show it here, but the other really cool thing is going to be chords. So having chord detection. Now, again, the proof will be in the pudding. We won't know until we start doing this if it's going to actually identify chords correctly. But if it works even like freaking Music Memos did back in, I don't know, 2016, then we'll be fine. Because Music Memos did a pretty good chord detection job. Not perfect, but pretty good. So the fact that we can just throw our guitar tracks in here, or throw a vocal track, or throw a MIDI track, or whatever you want, and say, create my chord track. It was my biggest criticism when the chords track was added, because if you've ever tried to create a chord track for an entire song, and I've done it multiple times, it is a pain in the ass. I mean, if you got a MIDI keyboard connected and you can hit the chord, but the fiddliness of trying to work out, even if it puts in the chord transitions in the right spot, and all I have to do is go in and edit the occasional chord, winning. I'm all about that. So that's it. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It'll be a fun ride, and we'll see what happens with it. That is going to do it for this one, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the Creator Town Hall for this solo show. From next week, I'll be joined by some wonderful guests. Brad Example, next week we've got Indie Over 50, John from Indie Over 50 coming on board soon, and I'm working on getting a bunch of other guests right throughout the year of 2026 so that I'm not here talking to myself for the entire time. So I hope you can join me for those. I'm going to send you over to Chris Lane Sr. and Dom Torgrosa. They got the happy hour, hanging out with them and friends, coming up in about an hour's time. So you got some time to chill and relax between now and then. Until next time, folks, though. Oh, yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here doing the happy hour in a couple of days' time. Got some more videos coming out. Got the short video about the Pearl Jam No Code album. You can argue with me. Tell me that Versus or 10's better, but I like No Code. I like Vitalogy too. They're probably my top two. So you can go and check that out later today. And I've also got a video that I'm working on at the moment about Final Cut Pro and the features coming to that. So going into a bit more detail about those. And we'll also tackle Pixelmator Pro and talk about, could this be a Canva killer? All that and more coming soon. Thanks everyone for being here. As we say at the end of each and every show, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Watch out for Mr. Peanut. Don't go stealing any nuts. And keep creating. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.